We got a 310 Panther in the shop here today. Old Steiger. These are such awesome tractors. We got a clutch to do on this one. Whoa! What is this going on here? That's coolant. Looks like it's been doing this for a while. It's coming from there. Check the other side here. That's not good. I wonder if that's coming from that water manifold up here. Let me just check. No, it is not leaking from higher up. That looks like it's coming from between those two heads. Looks like a head gasket issue. That's not good. Alright, clutch is done. No, this tractor won't be getting a new clutch. At least not yet. Okay, so the story is the guy bought this tractor knowing the clutch was bad. He was told that the clutch was wore out, couldn't be adjusted anymore, needs to be replaced. And okay, so it makes sense. I ran it in the shop and I don't know, it felt okay on the pedal, but a customer was saying that if you jump the clutch in the yard, it doesn't like jerk forward, it just kind of slowly engages and starts to pick up speed, so that would sound like a worn clutch for sure. So I didn't give it too much thought. I just started pulling the floor out, checking out where all the lines and everything were to figure out how I was going to do this, which way I wanted to hook the brackets on and stuff to lower this, pull the tranny off and get it down out of the way a little bit. So I came underneath here with my trusty D-bolt and I pulled that access cover off, just checking inside to see what that clutch looked like, and the clutch brake looked like it was way out of adjustment. So I checked it, and in order to do that, the first thing you have to do, you got to pull that big spring off right there. This guy here, because what he does is he takes up the slack on your release bearing, and you need to push it forward so that the yoke for the release bearing is contacting the release bearing in order to check what you actually have for clearance down there. Well, when I pulled that spring off of there, there's a better look at it. Then I found out that I had no play. That slave cylinder was preloaded, which means there was pressure to release the clutch when it was all the way released. It's kind of would be the same idea as if you held your foot on the clutch pedal down like an inch or so. Ooh, interesting. So I loosened up this lock nut, this jam nut, and I started to thread that into the clevis, and I realized that it was only in there just a couple of threads, and I had to thread it in about, I don't know, 7-8 turns before the preload was gone off of there. That's a lot of extra pressure to release the clutch, so that was interesting. After I set that guy up for a proper 1/8 inch travel, then my my clutch brake in here was way off. And in order to adjust that clutch brake, you do that by adjusting that guy in there on the main clutch. So I got that adjusted, and that put my clutch brake in the right spot. And then I went and checked it. And the clutch is perfect. We got exactly 1.5 inch travel here like we're supposed to have. I actually had to adjust that to get 1.5 inch, but it wasn't far off. So we got 1.5 inch here, we got 1/8 down at the bottom on the slave, and there was lots of adjustment left on the traction clutch to set up the clutch brake. So I'm believing that what actually happened was, as the clutch was wearing, they were adjusting the turnbuckle on the slave linkage, which you shouldn't be adjusting, instead of making the adjustment on the traction clutch here like you're supposed to. And that's, I guess as the clutch brake wore, that's how they adjusted it to get more travel so that the clutch brake would work again. But that adjustment is done on the traction clutch, and so it was just set up all completely wrong. So I got a few more things to slap back together here, and then I'm gonna go run it outside and see how it really works now.